you are a skinny guy trying to put on size, I am going to save you years of frustration. Over the past 3.5 years, I went from 125 pounds to 185 pounds, and I made every single mistake you could possibly make. Some of these mistakes cost me months of progress. One almost ended my fitness journey completely, and the other sent me into a depression. But the good news is, you don't have to make the same mistakes that I did. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the 5 biggest mistakes every skinny guy makes trying to put on muscle. If you want to avoid the pain and frustration I went through, then keep watching. The first mistake I see people making is ego lifting and trying to impress other people around them. Maybe even some females. If you are lifting to strictly impress others, then you're not doing it for yourself. And I fell victim to this myself when I tried to bench 2 plates for the first time with my cousin, and I ended up cracking my sternum, leaving me out of the gym for like months. Lifting heavy is not necessarily a bad thing. It's important because progressive overloading is how you actually make gains, but progressive overloading doesn't mean just putting on a bunch of weight at once, trying to get a reaction out of others. The second mistake is under eating. So a lot of skinny guys, they say, oh, I have a fast metabolism, or oh, I'm just eating so much but not seeing progress. But in reality, you are not eating enough. I made this mistake myself. I thought I was eating a bunch, but then once I actually put my height, my weight, my activity level into a free calorie calculator online, I saw my maintenance calories and I was barely even eating that. The number one thing you need to be doing is finding some type of app that tracks your calories so you know that you're actually eating enough. If you want to see actual gains, lifting is significantly less important than actually eating enough because it comes down to basic science. If you're in a caloric surplus and we talk about bioenergetics or the law of thermodynamics, calories in, calories out. If you're eating more calories than you're burning, that's going to equate to weight gain no matter what. I promise you are not an exception to the rule. Your metabolism is not too fast. If you think that, then some scientists at Harvard should be studying you. The third mistake is one that I didn't make particularly myself, but it's one that I see a lot of people doing, and you might actually be happy to hear it, and it's that you're doing too much cardio. Cardio burns calories, and as a skinny guy, we want to limit the amount of calories we are burning so that that margin of the calorie surplus is higher. I'm not saying sit on the couch and play video games and eat a bunch of junk food so that your heart rate skyrockets, but you don't need to be running for an hour every single day. Mistake number 4 is a mistake that was very detrimental to not actually my physical health, but my spiritual health. And that is placing all of your identity in the gym and your physique and how you look. So if you've seen some of my previous other videos or you know me on a more personal level, you know that from a young age, I placed my value and my identity in the way I looked. And this was partially because I got made fun of a lot, but this grew into a bigger issue once I started kind of overeating and overtraining and making the gym my entire life and my identity. When I got injured, I didn't know who I was, and only God could fill that void in me, which I have found to be true time and time again as I've grown in my faith with Jesus. As Christians who are trying to better our health or get a good physique or whatever, we should look to scripture, remind ourselves that our bodies are more than just physical. We are a spiritual vessel for God to use, and if we aren't healthy, then how can God use us? And that leads into mistake 5, which is comparing yourself to other people. With social media, sometimes you can feel all this pressure to look a certain way, to be super shredded, be sub 10% body fat, but a lot of times these are the top 10% of influencers, people who are not natural, and comparing yourself to others only sets an unrealistic standard for yourself that you probably won't end up reaching. When I first started getting into fitness content creation, this is kind of a problem I had where I would look up to certain guys, whether it's Alex Eubank, David Lade, and I was kind of set on wanting to look exactly like them, but this kind of let me down when maybe I didn't see an increase in views or comments or likes or whatever it was when I posted my physique. You shouldn't try to get your validation from the way you look, but again, from the God that loves you and intimately made you. Psalm 139 verse 14 says that we are fearfully and wonderfully made in the eyes of God. So if you're going to compare yourself to anyone, compare it to the person you were yesterday. So these were the 5 biggest mistakes that you can make as a skinny guy trying to put on size. But don't worry, I have more good news. I still gained over 60 pounds despite making most of these mistakes. So there is still hope for you. That's all I got for today. So good luck out there, guys. Keep grinding and God bless.